Growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. Hey, I get it. You've worked really hard to build up your business, and it's doing great. So great that you need help now. The most important thing for your business is to hire the right people to support it. So how can you find amazing candidates quickly? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. And with Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. And it's one of the largest databases of job seekers, too, giving business owners access to a wide range of candidates. And one of the things I love most about Indeed is the job alerts feature. I get notified when new candidates apply. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook.
This is the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 13, and I have a cold.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. He was a pitcher in Little League Baseball. Pat Flynn.
While DIY website tools are everywhere, most fall short on design and performance. Hit publish. Framer ships your site worldwide in seconds. No code, no compromises. Framer is a powerful, user-friendly platform that delivers developer-level results without writing a single line of code. Make your designs move and convert with Framer. Framer brings your site to life with powerful animations, dynamic content handling, and a design-first approach that helps your site stand out. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. Browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something of your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, scroll and looping animations, and much more in seconds. And it's free to start. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting of generating starter layouts and can even translate your entire site to any language. On the back end, you'll get responsive breakpoints, built-in hosting, a flexible CMS, and privacy-friendly analytics. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at Framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's Framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Running a business means legal questions are inevitable. Is this contract or agreement solid? What can I do if a client won't pay me? Am I set up properly for taxes? Well, rather than trying to navigate all of this on your own or searching endlessly online, imagine having a law firm on your side without the high hourly rates. That's exactly what Legal Shield's small business plans offer. With Legal Shield, entrepreneurs get access to real legal support, contract reviews, collection letters, guidance on business formation, and even help handling IRS audits. Members can book consultations, upload documents through the app, and work with a provider law firm that understands small business laws in your state. You also get proactive help on tax and trademark questions so you can stay ahead of legal risks. And if a client delays payment, Legal Shield can send professional collection letters to help you recover what you're owed, all for a fraction of what traditional attorneys charge. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the 13th session of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. Lucky number 13. If you're wondering why my voice sounds a little bit different, it's because I've been sick the last few days, and in order for me to talk, I have to speak in a lower register, so I might have a deeper voice today than normal. If I talk in my regular register, it sounds like this. It doesn't sound very good. So I actually had to delay the publishing of this podcast a couple of days because my voice wasn't working. Luckily, the rest of this episode is from a pre-recorded kind of session with a friend of mine. So when I start that, you'll notice that the voice will go back to normal. But again, I just wanted to thank you guys for being on with me today. And I don't have much voice left, so let's get right to it. Thanks, guys.
All right, so about a month ago, I had published a blog post entitled, "Is Giving Away Free Information Bad?" And of course, to those people who consume that content, that free information, of course the answer is no. I mean, who doesn't love getting free content? But for the producers of that content, people like myself, who are always giving away a ton of free information, is this bad? I mean, are we losing out on potential income because we're just giving it away for free? And this is the question that I want to tackle today, and I'm really, really happy to have a good friend of mine, Cliff Ravenscraft, who you may remember from Session 5 of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. I have Cliff here to help me tackle this question with you. So, Cliff, thanks for coming back on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you here. How's it going today?
Man, thank you so much, Pat. It is an awesome day. It's an awesome brand new year, and I'll tell you what, I'm excited to be back on your show again, and I appreciate the opportunity. After I was on your show last, a lot of people said, "Hey, I heard about you on Pat," and of course, personally, that was a huge benefit to me. So I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, no problem. I mean, you have such a great story. If you haven't listened to Session 5 of the Smart Passive Income Podcast, I'll link to it in the show notes here. So if you're listening to this on iTunes, come on the blog and check out that link to Session number 5, or you can just find it in iTunes if it's still there, and just listen to it. It's so wonderfully inspiring, and just Cliff's story is amazing, and I'm really glad to have him back because my audience responded really well to you and your story and what you had to say. So I'm really glad you're here to help tackle the question about free information and whether it's good or bad. And the way we're going to be doing this is actually I'm going to be quoting various comments on that post of mine, which actually now has 199 comments, which are, I can't go through all of them. That's obviously way too many, but I'll select a few that stood out to me. I'll read them off. I'll cite who said them, and then you and I can kind of respond with our thoughts. Now, before I get into that, though, I wanted to ask you, Cliff, I mean, with your experience in giving away information, which I know you do, and you give away a lot of information on your blog and on your podcast at podcastanswerman.com and all of your other podcasts, how has giving away free information benefited you and your business, if it has?
Well, it's benefited me and my business in a major way. And by the way, I started out in this whole online social networking world really as a hobby, giving away everything for free without any desire of any income at all, which I think is a huge benefit to me, by the way. Mm-hmm. I had no intentions of ever making any money online from my efforts in sharing my information that I had on my heart to share. Whether that was the TV show Lost when I had the Lost Fan podcast, or whether it was the various other shows that I've produced in podcasting and doing blogging since then. And by the way, I've since December 16th, 2005, I've produced more than 3,400 episodes. Is that right?
Yeah.
3,000 or was it 2?
I think it was 3,400, which is crazy. I mean, that's a lot of content, and that's all free content that people can get. But you've created and built a business around all of that.
I did, exactly. So basically, the thing is I never expected a single penny. And one day somebody said, Cliff, you could probably do this full time as your career. And I'm like, yeah, right. I'm an insurance agent. Nobody's going to pay me to talk for a living. And in January of 2008, I quit my career in insurance after 11 years to actually start a business online doing podcasting and new media work. So basically, I spent 2 years part-time giving away every single thing for free. And when I actually started my business, I intended to continue to give everything away for free and just kind of, start a consulting business and an equipment sales business to support my habit of giving away free information.
Right.
And people suggested, Cliff, if you started charging for this, we'd pay you for it. And that's where I learned that, the benefit to me and a potential business that I might create is that when I give myself so freely to so many other people and I do things that provide value for other people, they have a desire of reciprocity to return value back to me in one way or another. And so certainly I've benefited by the fact that I have given so much of myself that there are people out there literally who desire to find creative ways to give back to me.
Right. I think that's exactly how I started too. And, I had no intention of ever making money from my site at greenexamacademy.com, but it kind of just evolved into that. People seeing me as an authority and a trust leader. And then so when I finally came out with my own products, people felt like they had to give back to me, even though that information was the same information they can get for free on the blog. And we'll talk more about that later. And I remember you telling me a story. I'm not sure if you told it on session 5, but you told me a story about someone and their act of reciprocity, not directly, but by referring them or referring you to someone they knew who ended up being a large client or who bought a lot of stuff from you. I mean, things don't happen directly as far as reciprocity and kind of the benefits that we get for giving away information for free, but just the fact that people are willing to share our information with other people and refer us as, authorities in our niches, will eventually lead to sales or income or more referrals or stuff like that. Do you remember that story?
I don't remember that specific one because there literally are so many like it, and I'm not making that up. It really is real. There are a countless number of stories of people who haven't had any desire for any of the products or services that I actually charge for, but they soak up the stuff that I have available for free. They really like it. And there have been multiple stories where people have not necessarily needed my services, but man, they knew somebody who was a radio talk show host in their local town, and they were getting fed up with the way the radio was doing things, and they were messing everything up, and they were getting ready to lose all their sponsors, and they thought about doing this thing called podcasting, and they said, "Hey, do you know anything about podcasting?" They said, "No, but I know a guy who does."
Right.
And that just happens all the time. And so the fact that, and by the way, many times it's weird. I produce a lot of different podcasts, so a lot of different content on a lot of different topics. Whether you need help with your Macintosh or business for technology for your business, or information about a virtual assistant, or about answering your questions on how to produce a better podcast, I have a lot of different shows. And so I've actually had people who listen to an entertainment-based podcast, and we never talk about anything, but they know me so well and felt so connected to me, and they knew that the way that I actually make a living is through consulting. And they said sometimes that you got somebody who's listening to a TV show fan podcast, and they're referring a client to me that ends up spending $8,000 or $9,000 with me.
Right. That's so cool. And now, I mean, and beyond consulting, you're now, a significant chunk of your income is coming from passive income, from digital products that you have sold on your site. And I think a lot of that comes from the authority you've built by giving away information for free.
Absolutely. Pat, you and I did a webinar. What was that, 2 months ago? Maybe 3 months ago?
We did Passive Income for Podcasters.
Exactly. Passive income. Yeah. Passive income for podcasters.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Passive income strategies for podcasters. And there was so many things that I had been privy to, but I really never lived out in my own, day-to-day business life. I was doing, believe it or not, I was doing webinars, and people would say, hey, is there going to be a recording? No, you have to come live and take good notes. And I'm like, what? I'm totally missing an opportunity here. And they were saying, you're missing an opportunity. And it's like, I know I should get around to doing this. And you and I, we did that webinar. And in November of 2010, had the most profitable business or year of my business and of my life. And what's amazing was I got sick in December, just a couple weeks ago. I was sick with strep throat for 4 days, and I literally lost my number one person in my business outside of myself, my assistant. After having her for a year and having her become a part of my business, I lost her. She had to leave abruptly. I had to find a new assistant. And after I had found a new assistant, I got sick again with a sinus infection. Literally did not work. What normally would generate about 80 to 90% of my income, absolutely no work at all for 3 weeks. And then it was Christmas time.
Yeah, jeez.
But get this, because of the things because I had built such a relationship with so many people, and I now have products that people could download from my site. I saw payments of $300, $500, $600. Bluehost sending me a check for $800. And then all of a sudden, I won't say the name, but there's a certain affiliate program relationship that I had with $3,395 that came in. And it turns out December, even though I hardly did any of my normal quote unquote work, because of the things that I put into practice after having you co-lead this webinar, December actually ended up being my second most profitable month in my business and my life.
That's awesome.
So giving things away for free certainly got me a very large audience that was then ripe for being interested in the products that I might possibly create that are available for sale.
Well, I like the way you said that. And we'll get into more of that later as we go through these comments. But I do want to read off some of these comments and we can respond to them. I mean, some of the comments are wonderful. Some are positive. Some are negative. I'm really excited to see what we have to say about them. But the first comment is by Ryan S. And he says this. He says, at the end of the day, the stuff you put up definitely will help those of us who put it to good use, and will keep people glued to your blog for future help like this. In the end, establishing the credibility and reputation you have been building through this blog and others will only go towards gaining others' trust and willingness to invest money and time into your products and those of your affiliates, which will also benefit you. So I think that goes along with exactly what you just said. Giving away information, helping to keep people glued to you and your brand, so that when you do come out with your own products or you do recommend products, they will be, they trust you. So I mean, that's exactly what you just said. So I think Ryan hit it on the nail right there.
Absolutely. It's really odd because I told you there was one affiliate that I received, nearly $4,000 for. And I only sent out one email. Now, of course, this launch, one of those marketing launches that you hear a lot about. It's one of those ones where you're supposed to send, I don't know, what is it, 8 or 9 emails over the course of so many days.
Yeah, that's the product launch formula, I guess they say.
Exactly. So basically, it was one of those deals, but it was somebody that I knew and somebody that I trusted because of all of their free information. Mm-hmm. All right. So I listened to their free podcast. I've never paid this person a penny. I've actually listened to their free podcast forever. I met them face to face at a podcasting conference a couple of years ago. Developed a great relationship of trust with them. We've exchanged referrals back and forth and have referred clients to each other for sure. But I've never directly bought anything from him. But I've developed such a relationship of trust. And he came out with this product that he was launching. And it was one of those ones, to be honest with you, if I didn't know him, I would be skeptical about it. It's like,
right.
This is too much marketing speak. And basically, I invited him to come onto my podcast, and I did a 20-minute interview with him, and I sent one single email. And my email list, Pat, surprisingly is rather small, because unfortunately I just got into this, the being smart about building the list. So my email list was extremely small, and I'm talking, less than 200 people. And my list of 200 people put me in the top 10 of his affiliates.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's
for his launch.
I just wrote a post about autoresponder series and how to utilize your email service using an autoresponder, and you do it in a very unique way. I didn't talk about your specific model on that post, but it just shows you that it's not the size of the list that matters. It's how responsive it is, and you do something very unique with your list up front that gives them a certain expectation when it comes to your emails. Can you briefly explain what you do?
Yeah, my mailing list, I don't call it, matter of fact, I call it a mailing list. It's like, hey, I want your email address. This is not a newsletter. You're not going to get, fluffy stories from me and stuff like that. I mean, if I've got something valuable to say, I'm going to give it to the world for free, and it's going to be in a podcast because that's the medium that I best use. I like to talk. And so, or I'm going to give you a YouTube video, or I'm going to write a blog post, but it's all going to be on my blog, and, that's available for free. So, but here's the thing. If you are interested in learning about my latest webinars, my products that I'm going to make available for sale, or any kind of specials I have that as far as a sale on equipment that I'm selling, if you want to be notified of my stuff that I want to sell to you, then sign up for my mailing list.
Yeah, and your open rate and is what for your emails?
I'll tell you what. Ask me another question, and I'll go to MailChimp right now, and I'll just tell you right now.
Because I suspect
MailChimp,
because you give people that high expectation about what to expect. I mean, every email you send has an offer in it or some type of product that is for sale or something, and they know this.
Exactly. I do not send a quote-unquote newsletter or email to my list unless it is something for you to click and buy from me. Because that's what my podcast Answer Man list is. And by the way, I just pulled up my most recent campaign, and I'm clicking reports right now. And survey says my open rate is 83%, and my click rate is 67%.
Okay, yeah, that's out of this world, and that type of way to handle your mailing list and your emails on your site isn't right for everybody. But you are a prime example of how it can be used, very efficiently and with intention. I think you do that really well.
The thing is that people have said, "Hey, Cliff, how do I get to know about when this is available? Can you tell me when this is available?" And I literally started the mailing list as a means of saying, "Hey, this is the one outlet that I'm going to let you know about timely information." It's like, "Hey, you know what? I just had a 4-hour consulting call cancel for tomorrow, and there's no way I'm going to be able to fill my consulting schedule for tomorrow. So guess what? I'm going to send out an email saying, hey, I'm going to have a group open coaching call for 2 hours. Anybody who wants to sign up for $39, boom, you're in. Here are the topics I'm covering."
That's cool.
And I can send that out, and I'll tell you what, chances are I can make more money from 60 people who sign up for $39 than I ever could have made with my $150 an hour for 4 hours. So
right.
It's out of this world what a mailing list can do for you. But yeah, the whole thing though is, why are these people interested in signing up on my mailing list? Why do they want to know? Because I for 5 years have been providing them with extremely valuable free information. And here's the thing. I can tell people all the time, when they hire me, my consulting rate right now, as you're recording this, is $150 an hour. Now that could be actually higher in the very near future, and I'm not quite sure on that yet. But anyway, The thing is, I tell people when they hire me is like, listen, you could, if you want to, there's nothing I'm going to be able to tell you that I haven't already given away for free in 190 episodes of Podcast Answer Man. Right. But if you want, you could listen to all 190 hours of information, or you can go ahead and compile a list of the 14 questions you have. And for an hour, I'll answer every one of your questions, and I'll knock off 3 or 4 months of learning curve.
Yeah.
off of your desire to start podcasting. I'll get you. You'll be in iTunes tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I think that's the perfect way to lead into this next quote, which is from Ben. He says, "To be honest, currently I'm here for the free information alone." Very honest. "As my current focus is elsewhere, but I receive your updates as a RSS feed, and that means in my case that you are one of the few guys I will turn to for advice when I need it, and most likely I will, and that will bring you money in the long run." So Ben is saying, he doesn't need any type of products or anything from me now, but when he will or when he does, he'll come to me first.
Absolutely.
And that's the tough part about this kind of business we're in and giving away free information for free, because the returns aren't immediate. The ROI, return on investment, isn't an immediate thing that you can see happen. It's kind of an organic thing that happens over time. And even if it's Ben that doesn't end up buying a product, maybe it's someone that he refers me to, or that it comes back to me later as a referral from Ben. It might be that type of me making money in the long run based off me giving away information that Ben likes to consume.
There's no question. And not only that, if they go back and listen to session 5 where we shared my story, and I won't retell the entire story, so I'll just say this, is that the first year that I did this full time as my career, I had to take out $14,000 out of my pension just to make ends meet. I was not making a lot of money, but I was giving away a ton of free advice. And that was actually after 2 years of doing it as a hobby, giving away for free advice. But knowing that it was ultimately going to work out in the end, I just knew from what I had experienced in the time that I was doing it as a hobby, and I knew in my heart that I was doing the right thing when I was doing it. And I will tell you what, it was my success in 2010, which is out of this world. It's unbelievable to me that I actually lived the year that I lived last year. It's mind-boggling. Right. But I will tell you, it is from the first 4 years of giving it all away for free.
So during those first 4 years, did you ever try to monetize?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I tried several different things to monetize. I tried advertising, and that was really horrible. I tried just a straight donation model, but that was before people knew me, liked me, and trust me. Mm-hmm. And not everybody even knows, likes, and trusts me today, but a lot more people do today than they did back then, because I was a newbie. It's a matter of fact, right. If anybody's listening, you put a blog up and then immediately put a PayPal donate button. It's like there's nothing wrong with doing that, but man, I tell you, it doesn't go over well. It really doesn't. So what I learned is that to make money, I had to actually give something of value. I had to actually give something of extra value. And I actually struggled with the question of, well, will people give you money for things that normally are expected to be free? And I don't know if you want to go into that story, but I had some people say, you know what, you're busting your butt trying to make this consulting business work, and you're sitting on a gold mine producing all this content. Why don't you start charging us? And I'm not kidding when I say to you, literally 40 people in my community listening to my podcast says, we will pay you money if you will charge us.
Yeah.
Asking for money as a donation was as like, why don't you just donate it to me? No, charge us and withhold the content. And so I literally said, okay, well, here's the deal. I heard about somebody else doing this. I'm going to give you 1 episode a month for free. And if you want an episode every single week, I'm going to produce more content than I was before for this podcast. And people started signing up. And I think we just talked in a meeting before, Pat. What was my amount last year? 27,000?
I think so. You had earned 27,000 from people, or from you charging people to consume premium content.
Right, which would normally be free, but people asked me to pay to charge them for it.
Right.
And I'm actually considering, it's so funny because we just added a conversation. I'm actually considering taking that $27,000 of income from my thing called Plus Membership and going back to giving every single one of those episodes away for free. And I probably will not lose hardly any, if any at all, of the people who are paying me the money. And I will probably grow the number of people who are paying for my Plus Membership. I'm just looking at transferring the benefits from, instead for you paying for the benefit of getting the content, the podcast, which I want to give away to the world for free every week for every episode that I produce, which is 8 episodes a week, I want to give you different benefits for your donation, for lack of a better term. But that's the thing. I want to avoid the donation route, but I still want to provide something else of value as a benefit for the income that people want to pay.
Right. And I think that's probably the most important thing is just making sure that there's some type of value in whatever it is that you charge for.
Yeah. And I don't know if people caught the words that I just said, but there are literally hundreds of people who listen to my podcast who want to pay monthly for my content.
And you're going to give it away for free.
And I have a strong desire in 2011, after 3 years of charging, making up to $27,000 a year from it. I have a strong desire to give all of my content away for free.
Yeah, I personally think that's a good move. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But like you said, I don't think that you would lose very many of those contributors. It would just be a different title or way of contributing.
Yeah, and in my mind, and it goes along with all of this, this conversation, in my mind, if I put in 4 episodes a week or 4 episodes a month of Help I Got a Mac in iTunes that's available for free, instead of when people actually see my show in an iTunes search result and they only see 1 episode per month released, I think I'll get more people saying, wow, this is a very active podcast. I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to listen. And instead of getting 1 episode and at the end of that episode saying, hey, if you want an episode every week, pay me, which, by the way, if they're just now tuning in for the very first time, they have no idea who I am. They don't know, like, and trust me.
Right.
But if I had a podcast called Help I Got a Mac and I give them an episode every single week for free, and every now and then I just say, hey, if you really like this content and you want to support what we're doing, check out our Plus membership over here. And by the way, here's a list of the benefits that you get on top of knowing that you're supporting this content.
Right.
I believe that the number of Plus memberships will soar, and $27,000 of income from that will be it'll be a drop in the bucket to what's possible.
I think so. And not only that, people will get to know who you are, get to know Podcast Answer Man, and go to your blog and potentially get interested in some of the digital products that you have too.
Absolutely. And I can start creating digital products for some of those other shows, which I haven't even tapped into that.
Oh man, I love the business that you're running, and I'm just so happy for you. I'm going to move on to another quote.
Thank you. And by the way, while you move on to it, I was just inspired just now, and I know something that's going to earn me $60,000 this year. I am going to create a course on, if you're a brand new Mac user, here's a video training series on everything you need to know to get started. Oh my gosh, why haven't I done this? I've done 200 episodes on Help I Got a Mac, and I've never thought of this before.
Nice.
I'm writing it down
You're
now.
hearing it right here, folks, for the first time. That's inspiration right there. How many people do you have subscribed to that podcast?
I think there are 800.
800 people subscribed. And yeah, and I think once you give away
Make it all free.
Right, you'll get a lot more.
Oh my goodness. This is big.
So I'll give you a moment to write that down.
Go ahead. What's the next quote?
Okay,
Read it.
this one's from Annabelle Candy. Many of you might know her from getinthehotspot.com. She's a frequent commenter on a lot of the big blogs and stuff. She had a very interesting comment about giving away free information. She says this: yes, it is very bad. Free is not a business model, as Brian Clark said during his Blog World talk. Seth Godin tells us to practice giving people gifts because when you do, they naturally want to repay you, which is kind of what we just talked about. But in what currency? Will it match your expectations? And in any case, why give it only if you want to give back? Or why give if you only want to get back? And she also says the other danger is that people do not value what they get for free. They place more emphasis and act on info if they have paid for it. I believe many people are shortchanging themselves by seeking only free information when they could get better, faster, more effective, and balanced information by paying for it. What a great counter argument to everything we've been saying. And she later goes on to say, she's just playing devil's advocate, but I think it's very important to kind of discuss what she says there. Seth Godin, I've heard him say this before, practice giving gifts to people so that they naturally want to repay you. That's kind of been my business model since the beginning, and obviously your business model as well. But Brian Clark says free is not a business model. How do you create a business model by giving away information for free? How can you get back exactly what you want to get? And why would you give if you only want to get back? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm going to say a couple things that you may not expect me to say. Number one, devil's advocate or not, I'm going to have to say that I agree with a lot of what she says.
Mm-hmm.
All except for where was the one that yes, it's very bad. That's the one I disagree with, is the yes, it's very bad. But because I don't think it's very bad. But I do want to say I agree with a couple things. I do think free is not a business model.
I agree with that too.
It's not just free. In fact, free is not the idea. It's providing value and helping others is a business model.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not about just what can I give you for free, because you know what, I could put a bunch of junk on the web and give it away for free. That's not going to do anything for anybody. The question is, am I helping people achieve their goals? And you know what? As far as, what do I get back? Is it always going to be in the same currency and that meets my expectations? Mm-hmm. Oftentimes it's not.
Right.
Oftentimes,
absolutely.
Matter of fact, one of my greatest currencies, Pat, is not income, monetary income. Some of my greatest currency that keeps me moving forward and doing the work that I do is just positive feedback, thanking me, and a story that tells me how something I shared for free has positively impacted somebody's life. I'll give you a perfect example of this. If people go to gspn.tv/PABL contagious, that stands for Pursuing a Balanced Life. So it's gspn.tv/PABL contagious. It's one of my favorite blog posts I ever did in all the years that I've podcasted. And
one
basically
word,
what happens.
Is that one word, no dashes?
All one word, no dashes. PABL contagious.
Okay, thanks.
All right. And what you will see if you go here is a little photo that shares with you just how I spent literally 60, 70 hours of me sharing my own pursuit of a balanced and healthy lifestyle, sharing my triumphs, sharing my defeats in changing the way that I eat, the types of food, the types of exercise, sharing when I was successful at setting goals and meeting them, sharing when I've dropped off, fell off the wagon for 3.5 weeks, and this is what I'm doing. This is how lousy I feel. I do this podcast called Pursuing a Balanced Life. There's 485 episodes of this podcast, all right, of me sharing my life. And if you look at this picture, and I'm sure Pat will put this in the show notes.
I will.
You look at this picture, you'll see a picture of me, my wife, and one of our podcast listeners from the Washington, D.C. area. And she listened to our podcast, and you can see in the top picture that you'll see there, we're all extremely obese, very heavy-set people. And then you look at the picture right below it. Just a couple months later, myself was inspired. My wife was inspired to make changes. We shared our lives online, and what you see in the middle between the two of us in the bottom picture is that same listener who had lost over 100 pounds. And not only that, but she represents one of only hundreds of people who have lost 50, 60, 80, 100, and one person has lost more than 150 pounds as a result of us pouring out hours and hours and hours of free content, sharing what we're learning. And you know what? Could I have charged for content? Can I share? Could I become a quote unquote personal health coach? And yeah, I could do that. But you know what? I have no desire to even make any money from any of those efforts. What I get in currency is the fact that I've helped extend people's lives, and I've changed people's lives. And that to me is just as valuable as the income I make sometimes.
Right. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I'll make sure to post a link to that, to those pictures in the show notes. But as far as currency is concerned as well, I mean, it's difficult, like I said before, because the ROI is not something immediate. It's not always something immediate, not always, money for money or information for money. Like you said, it can be just simply a thank you. But another thing to consider is, on my blog, I get, I'm very fortunate enough to have thousands of visitors coming to my blog a day. And it only takes a few of those people who are inspired, who are motivated, who trust me and my authority in this, make money online niche or whatever you want to call it. It only takes a few of those people to click on an affiliate link, or if I had a product, which I'm working on products right now, but I don't have one at the very moment. It would only take a small amount of those people to purchase from me or click on an affiliate link and help me earn a commission in order to see a significant amount of income. I would, depending on the price of the products, if you just think about it, if you have, say, a coaching program that's $1,000 and you just help one person a week, that's $4,000 a month, which is definitely livable income in some areas. It doesn't take very many people to help support you for whatever it is that you're trying to do. And what I found is the case that there are very, very nice people out there who will want to repay you for all the things that you're doing, all the free content that you provide. But it's not everybody. No way it's everybody. But it just takes a few wonderful people to help repay you for all the things that you're doing and all the people that you're helping.
I want to speak to the danger of people not valuing what they get for free. And I just want to say this is something that is a danger. I will tell you that it's a fear that's really not based upon reality, because I will say that maybe not everybody is going to value what you give for free, but the people whose lives it changes, who are searching for information. I will tell you right now, people find a Google search result on a free video screencast, and I've answered a question that, man, they've been struggling and scratching their heads about for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And my one video blog post that I spent 25 minutes putting together has solved their problem. And it's like, wow, they value that. And they write me to tell me that. Yeah. And I gain them as a listener, as a subscriber to my free, valuable content. And they tell me week after week how valuable my stuff is, and they sign up for my newsletter or my mailing list. And the thing is they eventually say, hey, I want to buy this product that you've put together. I love the content you do. But I totally get that. The fear. I will say this though, when I do charge for something, I do feel like I get people who are more engaged.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think there's value in charging for things.
Yeah. But I mean, Tyrone and I, those of you out there, Tyrone is the person who challenged me in the Niche Site Duel. We came out with this coaching program at nichesitecoaching.com, and we're currently selecting 20 students to go through that program with us. It's not a cheap product. I mean, it's not a cheap coaching program. It's a $799 program. And we were very fortunate to have, all the spots. A lot of applicants fill out, or a lot of people fill out an application. But I know that if we gave away the same information for free, which we have on our blogs, but if we did a coaching program and made it free, or even if we made it, $39, we would not get people that would have the drive to really be successful with that program. There would be people who would pay and not do as much work, or people who would pay and then kind of not feel good about it and then try to get their money back. That's always something that happens. But because we're charging a large amount, and it's not the primary reason for charging that large amount. We know we're providing tons of value here, much more than the $799 value. But because it's such a high paid product, we know that we're going to get students who are really interested in just crushing it. And the money does have an effect of making us feel obliged to follow through with something. What I'm saying? Kind of, it's like I don't want to say it's a bet, but when there's money riding, if you're playing poker online, for example, one of my buddies, he plays poker online for a living. I don't know why I just thought this, but if you play free poker, and you get tons of other people playing free poker and you're playing against them, people just throw their money around like crazy, and then they just experiment with different hands, and they're not really thinking about really how to earn more chips or whatever it is. But if you are actually playing for real money, there's a different mindset involved that you really do want to succeed.
Yes. The other thing is, the idea of the charging for money. One of the ways that I think about this is there's there is a method that I've thought of when I charge money and when I give stuff away for free. And for example, if I was doing a class for 20 people, I would not do that for free. Unless there was some reason to do so. If I'm doing something for 20 people, I'm doing something that is specific. I'm giving a lot of personal attention. If somebody's paying me, I'm actually spending a lot of time putting that together. I'm making sure that I'm giving them every penny's worth plus some.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. When I give things away for free, I want it to be available to the public. So oftentimes I get, Pat, I know you probably get, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 emails plus a day.
Yep.
Just like I do, that has the phrase "quick question" in it.
Absolutely.
And what I decided is that, I cannot answer one-on-one questions via email to give you the advice or the help that you need. I'm available for one-on-one consulting at $150 an hour currently, as of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to my product site, there's some products there that could possibly help you out, and they're available for a fee. Or there's a free podcast that you could listen to. In fact, here's a link to where I answered this question once in the past. If this doesn't solve your question, here's a phone number you can call. You can ask your question for free, and I'll get it in an upcoming episode. The thing is I want to answer questions. If I'm going to answer it for free, I want it to be available and to the world to benefit from.
That's huge. I think I do need some work with that, because I do spend a lot of time answering all my emails in a very personal way, not rehashing answers that I've already sent out before. I don't know. That's just my nature, but I think that's a really great idea, because if it's a question one person has, it may be a question that several hundred or even thousands of people have, and that's a great
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to share that information for free. And again, bringing people into your brand, gaining trust and authority, and then eventually maybe possibly leading to a product purchase or consultation or something like that.
Absolutely. That's the thing. That's how I've decided, this is how I pick out what digital products I'm going to create. It's the questions that I get asked most. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, listen, I would love to answer your question for free, and I'm willing to do so in my podcast or on my blog. I'll need you to call that in, and I'll play your question and I'll answer it. But if you're in a dire straits scenario, I have 2 days a week that I schedule for consulting. I'd be happy to have my assistant schedule you for some time one-on-one, and I will help you get the results that you need. But this is how much it costs. So there's free and there's paid. And it depends on if you want one-on-one time, or if you're willing to do a group session, or if you're willing to just wait and let me answer your question in the podcast. And hopefully I'll get the full understanding of what your questions are. And by the way, when I answer a question, I don't hold back anything. If I have the information in my head, I want to give the fullest explanation possible. I don't believe in giving a little bit and then hoping that, it's like, oh, he didn't give me that last little piece, I'm going to have to buy that information.
I hate that.
I hate that too. And matter of fact, you will not develop a relationship of trust and influence with anybody with that methodology.
No, I bet. But the way you're doing it is really, really smart. I think that's really good. There is a delicate balance that has to be held. And, obviously we're giving away free information, but we feel like we have to get paid as well, and we have to make a living. So there's a delicate balance there, but I think you're handling it a very smart way.
I wish I need to follow my advice more often, because I still end up answering some one-on-one questions.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
20 minutes here and there.
It's hard not to, and hopefully after this podcast we won't get hordes of emails. But anyways, two more quotes I wanna go over before we finish up. First one is by Ron. And this is a great quote. He says, "It's hard to pin down, but it may be impossible to give too much, since it has to come back to you in some positive way, one way or another. But you must also make it easier for people to give back to you as well. And that's where smart marketing comes into play." That is such a genius quote, because, I always talk about on the blog and as a way to gain more subscribers or gain new email people on your email list, always try to make it as easy as possible to make that happen. And just what Ron says, we want to give away as much free information as possible, but we want to also make it easier for people to give back to us as well.
Pat, I'll tell you one thing I learned from you. And by the way, I heard it's crazy. I make a ton of money because of my mailing list. And I hardly sign up for anybody else's mailing list. And I'll be honest with you, I typically, when I sign, if I actually sign up for somebody's mailing list, I usually get kind of bored with them after a while, and I filter them so that they actually never hit my inbox. Yours, however, is one email list, and I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up anything. It's just the thing is that I do read your blog, and one of the things that I got out of your blog was you're talking about Website Payments Pro. Using eJunkie, and the fact that I signed up and I actually got your eBooks the Smart Way, and I read your ebook the Smart Way, eBooks the Smart Way ebook, and one of the things you said is that when you made it easier for people to buy your digital products via credit card instead of having to go through PayPal, you saw an increase in sales.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have been going for years. I've actually been doing podcast consulting as a hobby, even before I was doing it as a career. I've been doing this for 4.5 years as far as the consulting business. And I've been doing this as my full-time career, running my business for 3 years. And the only payment forms I've ever taken were check by phone or PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I never once accepted credit cards. Never did. I lost 2 equipment sales as a result of that. But as far as digital sales and stuff like that, I never knew I was losing anything. But I actually went through and I signed up for Website Payments Pro and put my little API key in there.
Right.
And then all of a sudden turned that on my eJunkie. And I will tell you what, my sales went through the roof. And I will say that 9 out of 10 sales today are all credit card payments.
Oh yeah, same with me. And that's really glad to hear. I'm really glad to hear that you've taken stuff that I put in that ebook into practice, and it's actually helping you make more money. That's awesome. Thank you.
It is. Folks, seriously, I'm not just saying this because Pat's a friend and he is a friend, and I'll just disclose that. But sign up for his mailing list, ebooksthesmartway.com, and get the ebook. Download the if you have a Kindle, do this. Download the black and white version, not the color one. Download the black and white version. You'll get a PDF document. Then you email it to your Kindle email address as an attachment and put the word convert. Is that the right word?
I have no idea. I don't have a Kindle, but that sounds really cool.
I think it's convert or whatever, and it will actually format it into Kindle version, and it's awesome. So
I should make a Kindle version of that ebook.
You should.
Okay, let me write that down.
But anyway, yeah, make it easier for people to give back to you. So I guess what inspired that was when I made it easier for people to buy from me, so that they could just pull their credit card out or their debit card. That made it easier for them, and by golly, they're signing up more quickly now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So thank you, Ron, for that quote. I think it's something that's very important, and it's not just about giving back to you. It's just about signing up for your newsletter, signing up for email lists, being able to retweet or like your blog posts. It's all. You hear me say this on the blog all the time. Make things as easy as possible. I mean. I don't want to say, make it so easy that like a monkey could do it, but sort of. That's kind of what you have to do.
Well, the fact that you have a domain for your mailing list sign up, ebooksthesmartway.com. Dude, I tell you what, I send so many people to your mailing list sign up because you make it easy for me to do so. But man, if I had to actually say, go to smartpassiveincome.com, click on, then when you go there, look for this and icon and click on that and sign up for his free ebook. It's just, dude, go to ebooksthesmartway.com, help you in that way.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thanks. Yeah, thank you for referring people to the ebook. I appreciate that.
Well,
and
thank you for the free ebook. I love it, and I do value it. Believe it or not.
No problem. And I will get working on that Kindle version. I do have place I think where I can go for that, and I'll talk more about that on the blog later. Now, anyways, I just want to finish with this one last quote, and I think it's a great quote to end with. This is from Roger, and he says, about giving away free information. I think it depends on your motivation for giving things away. If you are doing it solely because you expect people to do something in return for you, then I would say it is not good. That is much like basing a friendship on the idea that you serve some need for me, so I want you as a friend. If you stop serving that need, then we're no longer friends. In other words, the relationship was really all about you from the beginning. So I think that's really, really important to understand that even though we may be giving away information for free and, with the idea that there is a possibility of getting something back in return for doing so, the actual motivation, the base kind of motivation and idea behind giving away information for free should be about helping people. And you already mentioned this earlier in the podcast today, but really providing high value information that will help people. That is exactly where trust comes from permission to offer a product or an affiliate product, from them pulling out a credit card. It's all about helping people right from the beginning.
Yeah, and I will say that as a consultant, one of the things that I really don't like is when I do get somebody who says, "Hey, I heard about you, and so told me that I need to talk to you. I got laid off, a couple months back, and I'm starting this blog, and I'm going to do this podcast, and I need to get it up and running, and I need to find a way so that it starts, bringing in an income within the next month or two." And I'm like, I have the technical skills and the technical abilities to get you up and running and all of that stuff. But man, I do. And I actually say these words to them. I said, it is entirely possible that you could probably pull off some other marketing angle that I'm not familiar with to actually turn an income from your podcasting efforts and your blogging efforts within the next couple months. That may be possible. And there are some things that I could think of that you probably could do a little bit. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be able to. I can help you technically get your podcast up and running. I'll teach you how to do it. I'll get you into iTunes. But when it comes to sharing a strategy on how you're going to actually produce an income, I can't do it with the motive of how am I going to get money out of it.
Yeah,
because you can't start there. If you were to actually transform what you said to me to, I'd like to be able to start producing an income from this slowly to replace my income over the course of the next 3 to 4 years. Then we can talk. But man, if you expect anything out of your efforts within the first 6 months that's of a substantial basis to where it's going to provide you income, that could sustain you, no, you're probably better off going out and getting a job and trying to find somebody there. And let's start this with the mentality of what can I give and help others and build relationships with people. It's not the only way, but it's the only way I know.
Exactly. I mean, me too. I mean, I have the same thing. A lot of people contacting me, asking me, how can I make money in 3 months, or how can I make money next week or something? And it's really difficult for me to answer those questions because, you by thinking about the money first, you're only going to let yourself down if you don't reach that point by a certain time. And the products that you produce, the blogs that you set up, the campaigns that you set up for your email list, they're all going to have kind of a certain mood or just certain, that they're going to feel like there's some purpose other than helping people. I mean, even if you do your best to mask it, to sound authentic, there's always a way to tell that it's just not true, and that money is the primary motivation. And that's why I think giving away all of your information for free is probably the best thing you could do, and really holding nothing back. I mean, like I talked about earlier, when I wrote my first ebook at greenexamacademy.com, 95% of that ebook was the exact same material that people could find for free on the blog. But that ebook sold like hotcakes. And another example is Darren Rose from ProBlogger.net. He wrote a blog series for free on his blog, just a regular blog post, 31 days of posts. And he turned those 31 days of posts into an ebook called 31 Days to Building a Better Blog, 31DBB, as some people might know it. And that has been selling like hotcakes too. I actually had an affiliate sale for that ebook this morning. And it's a great book. And I think it's because, Darren has spent lots of time building that authority. And his primary motivation is to help people. That even when you give away the exact same information, as long as it's packaged and more easily consumable than what can be found for free on the website, people will buy it. That's what I found to be the case.
And I have found it to be the case as well. And the one other thing about this whole, you've got to make money. I oftentimes share, and I've shared it here, and I know I shared it in session 5, but it cost me $14,000 that first year out of my pension just to make ends meet. Now, I was making money that year, but when it came down to it, the last 3 or 4 months of that first year of doing this business, I decided, you know what, I need to do something to not be focused on the money. If I continue to, focus on I got to have this consulting call. I've got to do this. I've got to mention my need to make money to everybody at all times. I had to get out of that mindset. And so that's why I went and I took $14,000 out of my pension because I don't believe in debt and I had the money in the pension. And so I did that. I paid $4,000 in penalties and taxes, and I had $10,000 of income to pay myself for 3 months. I could actually work for 3 months without having to worry about earning a single penny. And during that time, I produced more free content than I had ever produced before that point. And I'll tell you what, it was all an investment in helping people and doing the things that I felt called to do rather than doing things because I had to earn money. And for me, my business has never been all about earning the money. It's been about how can I help others. And if you have that mentality, I really think there's nothing to stop you. And I don't think you could ever give too much away for free.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the money part of it is just the bonus that comes with helping people. And I think it's a win-win for everybody in that case.
It is.
So
in fact, if it's not a win-win, I don't want your money.
Yeah, there you go.
That's that. If it's not a win for you, I don't want you to spend your money with me. And I have actually turned down consulting clients that said, maybe this isn't the place. And I said, I can tell that there's somebody who can probably help you. I'm not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody says, I have no desire to actually meet and talk with another person on Twitter or Facebook. I have no time for LinkedIn. Can you tell me how to make money with my podcast? No, I can't.
I think that's a great place to end. I hope those of you out there who are listening got some good information from this podcast with Cliff. And, it may, giving away everything for free may or may not help you in your particular business or your particular niche, but it's helped us. It's really helped us build authority, build a huge following. And at least for me, I feel very fortunate and very proud of the way that I run my business. And I know you do too, Cliff. So
absolutely. I sleep good at night.
Exactly. So we'll end it there. Cliff, I know you have podcast, answerman.com. Is there anything, anywhere else you'd like people to find you, or any last words before we go?
Well, number one, I want to say thank you again. I happen to know, just because of your generosity of bringing me on here, that I'm going to be introduced to a lot of new people that I wouldn't have otherwise. And I just want to say thank you, Pat, for that privilege.
You're welcome.
That honor.
I always refer, whenever anyone has anything to do with podcasts, whenever they ask me questions about podcasting, I always refer them to you. You've helped me out so much. You've helped this podcast become successful. So thank you for that. And I know you can help others too. So check out Cliff at podcastanswerman.com if you need help with anything podcasting.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Cliff Ravenscraft from podcastanswerman.com. Again, that's podcastanswerman.com. And again, I don't have much left to say except thank you. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the ebook downloads. You can get your free ebook, eBooks the Smart Way, at ebooksthesmartway.com. Go check it out. And you can also check me out on Facebook. Come wish me well on Facebook at patonfacebook.com. That'll redirect you to my Facebook page. So I hope to see you there. I hope to get better soon. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
Kind of like this voice. It's probably not going to last, though.
Hey, fellow podcaster, does this sound like something you've experienced? You record your podcast episode on one platform, download the files, edit in another app, then fire up a different tool just to create these social clips? Well, it can be clunky, time-consuming, and frankly overwhelming, especially for creators trying to grow. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Riverside. Riverside is the all-in-one platform. Record, edit, and repurpose your podcast content all in one place. You just log in, record with your guests no matter where you are in the world, and just like that, studio quality audio and high resolution video. We use Riverside here at SPI as well now. With built-in AI, I can automatically clean up my audio, saving myself so much editing time, and it can even auto-generate clips to make promoting the show a breeze. And with Magic Clips, I can grab the best moments and repurpose them as short-form video, perfect for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, without re-recording a thing. So if you're tired of juggling tools and want a faster, simpler way to create and scale your content, it's time to try Riverside, built by creators for creators. Just go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. I get it. You want to grow your business, but selling at scale feels overwhelming. You're drowning in complicated funnels, creating different lead magnets, or constantly posting on social media. And that gets exhausting fast, especially when you're trying to sell to hundreds or thousands of people. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? A score app quiz or assessment asks your audience key questions and gives them instant personalized results based on their answers. Your audience gets to know where they are now and shows them the steps they need to hit their goals. You can set up a quiz in minutes using Score App's templates and have a powerful lead magnet that'll do the selling for you. The best part is your audience actually wants to take this quiz, and you build huge amounts of trust before you even make a single offer. No hard sales, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. Just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.